What's going on, everybody? It's Dylan of the Bottom Line View here with Kev. We're here for our weekly live chat of pregame before Sunday AM, whatever you want to call it. Mitch, I'm going to have to bring this up probably 2 or 3 times, is not going to be on here. I think this is the 3rd week in a row, but whatever. He's actually going to a Patriots game against the Bills today, so he gets the excuse.
Mitch.
That is our sounder, Mitch Radar. We're going to figure
Mitch
out
Radar, yeah. He's in
but,
Michelo.
Michelo, there you go. But he actually has an excuse, so I'll give it to him. But we are two very tired guys here to give you good football entertainment, talking about pregame, some of the big games this week, fantasy questions.
And we also have a quick chat because in about 15 minutes, they're announcing the 4 playoff teams in the college football.
Ooh, that'll be good. I think everything is set except for that 4th position.
Yeah, it's either they're debating Alabama, Ohio State, or there's someone actually going to argue Wisconsin still.
Really?
Yeah, they have 1 loss.
No. Well,
I'm predicting Alabama gets it.
I'm predicting Alabama, but I want Ohio State.
Yeah.
Just because the committee and such. Yes, joining me here is Kev. Kev, how are you doing today?
Great. Interesting game of weeks, interesting week of games. I'm sure AC is looking forward to thrashing me on NFL Sunday night after, as he is expecting the Eagles to trash the Seahawks. That won't happen. I think it'll be a close game. It'll be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way.
No, I don't think so either. But it should be a fun one. You guys can check us out on there later tonight with that recap. Hopefully, both of those guys will be here. Michigan won't be on there, but those two hopefully will. Kev, this is a big week for football. There are some playoff implications on the line here, and there are some pretty good games. What games are you looking forward to the most?
Let's see. So, Carolina. Okay, let's start with the early games. Vikings Falcons will be a good game. I think that one. If the Falcons win and the Vikings lose, I think that opens up the NFC for anyone to win. So the Vikings and the Eagles lose. That I think steps out everyone a little bit closer. Detroit, Baltimore will be interesting. Green Bay is expected to bring back some guy named Aaron Rodgers.
God. They're done.
By week 15.
They're done.
If they are in the playoffs, I'm telling you guys, knock out the Packers now. Get them out. You don't want this. I'm telling you.
They're done. They're done. They're done.
Kansas City, New York Jets. Reed is handing his play calling duties to Nagy. That's interesting.
I heard that. Yeah.
Josh Gordon is expected to play for the first time since 2014.
Woo!
Won't matter because I don't think the Browns are ever going to win this decade.
Well, I just want them to do good.
Yeah. Carolina, New Orleans tonight will be good. I'm picking the Cardinals to beat the Rams, and
I don't know why.
Peterson is a long shot to play. The Cardinals are weird. That's why.
Why would you pick them?
The Cardinals are weird. They win games they should.
The Ram. Okay, first off, it was the Rams beat the Saints last week, and then now you're gonna pick the Cardinals to beat the Rams.
Yes, I just have this funny feeling that the Cardinals are coming off a 33-0 thrashing of them, and I don't know how good the Rams. I think I'm skeptical of 2 teams. I'm still skeptical of this Rams team when it comes down to. This is like a letdown game for them. I think that's why I have the Cardinals winning.
I thought the letdown game already happened because they played the Vikings.
No, the letdown. I'm not going to focus much. As much.
I think they know it means a lot because you guys are 1 game behind them.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's partially hard, but if the Cardinals win, if we lose tonight, it's not that big of a deal. But if they win, we have to win. But we have to win anyway. There's no question. And Ben McAdoo, Dylan, Ben McAdoo is
Could be
playing,
fired in the
probably
next 24
coaching his
hours.
final game. The porn star mustache will not be part of the rest of December, sadly. He is leaving for, it's expected to be fired. And of course, tonight, the Eagles and the Seahawks. The big thing for me, the two things that I think need to happen: field position. I think the Seahawks need to win that battle, hands, and they don't do this enough. They gotta create some turnovers, and that's that. Not that that's going to be easy. Wentz doesn't turn the ball over, but they have to create some turnovers. They have to shorten this field if they're going to win. And I think it's also going to be interesting if Antonio Brown is part-time against the Bengals. I still think they'll win, but yeah, some very interesting games this week with some outside storylines that we weren't expecting as well.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it'll be an interesting week for sure. Ben McAdoo, I don't want to pray for or hope for somebody to get fired, but this guy's been an absolutely terrible head coach of an organization. The benching of Eli Manning has come into play. And Kev, we actually haven't been able to talk about this on this channel. I guess you guys probably talked about it on picks, but I haven't been able to talk about it on here. What do you think about the benching of Eli Manning?
I thought it was very poorly handled, very un-Giants-like. They're an organization that does pride themselves on treating their players very well. It was poorly handled. I kind of understand it, but I don't, because I don't know, unless you're seeing something in practice that Geno Smith is doing, I don't see why you're not letting Eli at least finish the season. Like, I get it that you want to look at what you have, but you know what you have.
I think they should be going
Davis Webb.
Yeah, I think you should be going to start Davis Webb. That's what I think personally, because he's a rookie, right? And I don't think he has that much talent. But if you're seeing what he has, he's going to be he'll at least provide some kind of answer for you, whether or not you need to go get a quarterback in the draft, which they still need to do, honestly.
Yeah.
But they drafted this guy, so they want to see if they got that. But Geno Smith, you know exactly what you're getting. You're getting trash. He's your backup. And
he's a free agent. He's not coming back next year. That's the other thing that just is confusing.
Wonderful. Didn't even know that part.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I think it was I think it was a good decision to bench him. I mean, they're mathematically eliminated for the playoffs, so what's the point in Eli playing, other than to keep the streak alive? And then Eli's like, well, that's just pointless to the streak. And they offer the idea of a more ludicrous idea of playing like a half, and then those guys come in. So
yeah, that's ridiculous.
But yeah, I think it was a fairly poor decision the way that they treated it, but I think it was a good decision to do it. Eli's 32-43 in his last 75 games as a starter. That's not all on him, but some of that has to be blamed on the quarterback.
But why are we? That's the frustrating part. Like, what can you defend about Eli's play the last 3 or 4 years?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Even when they were really good last year, right? When they were 11-5, and we had these expectations, their defense got extremely better than it was the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So you take out the 11-5 season they had, the last 4 seasons, he's 32-45. That would be 21 and 45. Be 21-40. That's really bad.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I'm not going to defend him as much. I'm going to defend him in how they treated him, but I'm not going to defend him in the benching. That's all.
And as I said to Mitch on Thursday night, I don't know if he's going to be if he goes to free agency, if he decides he still wants to play. I don't think there's going to be that big of a market for him, especially with what else is out there. I don't think Eli's going to be. Maybe Jacksonville, but if I'm Jacksonville, I'm probably going to start with Kirk Cousins and ask about that first.
Yeah. I think it'll be backburner to that, but I think it'll either be Jacksonville or Denver. I think those are the 2 teams that'll call him up. I don't know if he'll land either starting gig, but you know John Elway. He always wants those old quarterbacks to come in and do something for him.
Yeah, because why would you draft a Derek Carr or a Russell Wilson? That's just ridiculous.
Oh, why would you? I mean, that's
draft
just
Brock Osweiler. That'll help you.
Yeah. Hey, they drafted his brother, or not drafted his brother. They got his brother in that trade when he was like, what, 35 years old? So.
Yeah, fell on his lap. Elway's a legend.
They won a Super Bowl. Okay, so what games for me that I'm going to enjoy? Vikings, Falcons. Fox has the two really good games this week, not CBS. Vikings, Falcons is going to be a good one. I'm going to enjoy that one. The defense for the Vikings should be good. The Falcons' offense is supposedly back. I don't know yet, but the Falcons are currently favored by Dose on the line, so that should be an interesting one. I picked the Vikings. I think Kev did as well. Lions Ravens should be interesting. I think it comes down to the Lions offense versus the Ravens defense, because the other way around is pretty trash. The Ravens offense versus the Lions defense. Lions defense is okay, but the Ravens offense is just old. They're old. Yeah. And Kev, didn't you pick? Are you now switching your pick from the Ravens?
I am picking the Ravens. Yes, I don't trust Detroit.
You don't trust Detroit. You can't trust Matty Ice, or not Matty. Well, that's Matthew Stafford. You can't trust that man for a fourth quarter comeback.
I can't trust this team. I actually think you could make an argument that this team should be better than 6-5.
Well, first off, they should be at least 7-4 because they're that Atlanta game.
Yeah, right. And they should have beat Pittsburgh. Really, the way that they played, they could be
put the yards in.
Yeah. That game really stumbled to me. Like, you look at what happened to the Minnesota Vikings here. They lost Bradford, Cook. They had Diggs down for a while. They've even had Thielen. Hasn't Thielen missed some time?
I think he missed 1 or 2 games.
Yeah. All these injuries. You went with a guy named Case Keenum, and you're 9-2 and Detroit 6-5. I think that there's a legitimate argument that we've overrated Detroit a little bit here.
Well, here's the first thing. First off, nobody rated Detroit over 9-7 this season, going into the regular season. So, like, for preseason predictions, their 5 losses are to the Falcons, which I think was very unjust. Panthers in 3-point game. They beat the Vikings earlier this year. The Saints in that, Jesus Christ, the amount of scoring, 52-38. Mm-hmm. That yardage game against the Steelers, and then they were trying to come back against the Vikings, but apparently they were offsides in that last play. So, yeah.
So their 6 who are their 6 wins against?
I got to pull that up again. Sorry. Their 6 wins are against the Cardinals, the
Giants under 500,
the Vikings
over 500.
Packers, Browns, and Bears.
So they've beaten 1 team over 500.
Yeah, I mean they're still a good team. It's just they're not like a team I'm scared of. You know what I mean? They've got pieces where I like, but they don't have a run game.
No,
they've never had I pulled up this stat. They haven't had a rusher go for 100+ yards. Not the team, just one rusher go for 100 yards since Reggie Bush 4 years ago, November 28th, 2013. It's the last time they had a rusher go for 100 yards in a game.
Wow.
Matthew Stafford's had a rusher go for 100 yards 7 times in his career, which is the lowest of anybody currently in the NFL that's played for that amount of time. He got drafted in 2008, so I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't like Stafford, but this team around him I don't think is a strong team. And they've got
strong pieces. They just don't have a strong collective unit.
Yeah.
Because Marvin Jones, Golden Tate, they're a good receiver combo. Eric Ebron, he's playing healthy, so that's good. But they don't have everything figured out, I think.
Yeah.
Other games I'm looking forward to this week. Chiefs-Jets, I'm just mildly curious to see whether or not the Chiefs are going to self-destruct themselves. It will make my prediction of 9-7 earlier in the playoff or earlier on in the season that much more correct, but I wasn't expecting that after week 5. I'll tell you that. I wasn't expecting 9.
No one was, no one. But I think Kansas City will win today.
I've got the Jets just because I can't trust the Chiefs right now.
Mm.
But I could definitely see them winning that one. Other games, Texans-Titans, I think is going to be interesting just to see the Titans if they can. This is a divisional game. You never really know with divisional games, and they need this win because if Jacksonville wins and they lose, they're right back into the 5th seed in the wild card. So,
yep. And I did pick Indianapolis to upset the Colts. It's going to be really.
Yeah, I don't get why you did that one.
I think it'll be a closer game than people think. Jacksonville's not a good team at home. And I think this defense.
You know how many times they sacked the Colts last time they played? 10.
Yeah.
10 times.
Yeah. I'm not saying. I don't know if I'm enamored with this team. I don't know.
No, it's all because of Blake. It's all because of Blake Bortles, Kev. You can't deny that. I mean, they can't get anything going.
How long can you survive like this?
But you're not playing a good team. You're playing the Colts.
Yeah, they're not a good team. But they'll put up a fight. At least I think it'll be closer than people think.
They're one of the 5 worst teams in football. I mean, it could be close, I guess, but the line is 10 for Jacksonville.
Yeah, I actually think the Colts will cover that.
I'm going to say that it'll be exactly 10. I'll say it's like 27-17 or something like that.
Okay.
That's what I'll give them. Actually, you know what? 20-10 because I don't think the Colts can score that many points on them. Panthers-Saints should be a good game. That's also another Fox game, so Fox really got both of those correct. I picked the Saints. I think they're just a little bit better as a full collective unit. And I think they need to bounce back after the loss against the Rams. And this is right now for the division because both their teams are 8-3. The Falcons are 7-4. So those are big matchups for all 3 of these teams today.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football should be interesting. Eagles-Seahawks. I think the Eagles are going to win this game, but it should be interesting to see how the Seahawks counter to everything the Eagles do. Hopefully they can get more than 6 rushing yards, unlike the Bears last week. I don't know if they will, but we'll see.
I'm actually not even counting on the run. Well, I think if we get 50 yards, I'm happy. And 20 of them are from it. 20 to 30 of them for Eddie Lacy.
Eddie Lacy rushed for his season high last week.
I know.
And it was how many yards was that?
43. Yeah.
43.
Yeah.
Man.
Well spent money.
That's amazing. And plus, you gave him so much money for losing weight. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah.
You're basically giving him like the Jenny Craig diet, and it's like, all right, well, this is a paid sponsorship. Get $550,000. And then the Monday Night Football game should be fun, just because it's 2 teams that kind of hate each other. And Vontez Burfict. That's all I got to say about that one. Yeah. Let's get to the chat. I know the chat is going to be talking about a couple of things. Russell Wilson in the chat, of course, very nice before the pregame. Says, go Hawks.
Yep.
He says it's going to be Alabama in terms of our Ohio State, Alabama, Wisconsin discussion. We're going to win, and I'll jump Wentz in the MVP discussion. Oh, he's saying he's going to take him out of the discussion. I don't know about that.
Unless Wentz is completely shut out, I don't even know you can take him out of the argument.
No, he's number 2 right now for me.
Yeah, at the
it's got to be in the top 3.
He's got to be in your top 3. Yeah.
Sebastian says, go Bears. Actually, I picked the 49ers today, so that should be interesting.
What?
Jimmy G, baby.
Oh.
G.
They dropped
the Bears participated in no win November. They're not a very good team right now. They have no receiver targets. And Mitchell Trubisky has looked
Frisco's 30th against the run. Eddie Lacy got 40 yards on them. What is Howard and Cohen going to do?
Nothing.
Oh, I doubt it.
49ers are going to surprise you. You're the one that's been picking 49ers more than me, Kev. How are you going to call me out on that? This is the second time I've hit the
out about the Colts.
Huh?
You called me out about the Colts.
I think that was the worst decision because the Colts are playing a legit playoff contender, and you're talking about a Bears team that's 3-6 or 3-8.
Yeah, well, they're both are not good teams. I'll give you that.
No, I get, yeah, for sure. But I think Jimmy G, and with Kyle Shanahan, he's been waiting for that opportunity to get somebody that actually knows how to play the quarterback position. I think it'll be a good thing for him. That's why I'm going to put it out there. Michael Sachs says, "Do I pick up Josh Gordon in fantasy? I actually picked him up in one of my leagues. I'd be cautious though. I would put him on. What I would do is I would
played since 2014.
The problem is that right now is probably the last week of everybody's regular season for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Or season for fantasy. So I wouldn't do it yet. Like maybe you see what he does this week, pick him up and put him on your bench and see what he does if you have a roster spot. But I wouldn't bet on it just because it's so close to the playoff season for this.
Who's throwing the football to Josh Gordon?
The selections are in. Says Adam Schefter. Number 1 is Clemson. Number 2 is Oklahoma. Number 3 is Georgia, and number 4 is Alabama.
Yeah,
so those are the picks.
It's hard to argue that.
I don't know.
Ohio State lost to Iowa 55-21.
No. I'm not defending that. I just feel like this system is not a good system. I think it should be either 6 or 8 teams, honestly.
I agree. I totally agree with that. I don't like this.
Because you're just limiting it so much. Like, what I think it should be, I think 8 teams would be a lot of fun because you're having, 8 really good teams that have been putting in the work and effort, and you can put in some teams that are like not looked at as much. Like, let's say TCU won yesterday, right? They would have probably been in the discussion for it. But within 8 teams, they would have been in that playoff hunt. A lot of other good teams that are right on that cusp. USC could have probably been in it. You could even made an argument UCF would have been in it. So I think it would have been a lot more fun if there had been 8 teams. But
yeah, I think that's what they're going to have to do eventually, or something like that. But
because how many teams are in college football in Division I football? Like 120 or something?
Yeah.
So limiting down to 4 when your competitor in basketball does like a 68-man or a 68-team tournament. I get it. You can't do 68 teams because 1, that's asinine. And 2, college basketball plays a lot more games.
Yeah.
But
you can do, I think 8 is reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they should take it because of how much of the success that's such a great concept in theory. So,
yeah.
Other comments. Jordan says Steelers have Bengals number. He's gone midday. Says Jordan about Ben McAdoo. Jordan says I used to hate Eli, but now I felt like I took a shot in the stomach. First for Geno, then the fact that you have no chance of making the playoffs. All he's given you. Yeah. So what do you got? What do you think about that? The loyalty aspect of this part or this controversy.
Well,
that hurt.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I understand the loyalty part. I think that's where this is all going, and I do understand that. But he hasn't played well though. And the argument is, well, he doesn't have anybody around him. I don't know. Look what Stafford has done with nothing really around him. Look what Russell Wilson has done with arguably not a lot around him. If we would we be talking about this as if Eli was benched by the LA Rams and they were 2-8?
No. See, they're a complete dumpster fire, which means every part of them is trash.
Yeah.
But we've seen good quarterbacks on shitty teams. I don't see how Eli's stats in the last 5 years can beat anything else. Of other quarterbacks on bad teams. He just hasn't been playing well. And that's a truth. So, especially even early on in the season, right? When we were ragging about how this team could be 11-5 or, going to the NFC Championship, making it to the freaking Super Bowl. The first couple of games, he struggled a lot. So This has been a decision coming for a while now.
What they should have done is went to him at the trade deadline and said, look, our season's over. Can we trade you?
I think that would have created way more headlines. I don't know if that would have been a good decision, because then McAdoo would have probably been fired right there. I don't think
fired then anyway.
Well, I don't think the head coach. No, I don't think the front office would have let that happen though. You know what I mean? I think they
hiring happened. But.
Well, he was a good offensive coordinator, to be fair. At one point, he was decent.
Yeah. I don't know.
And plus, they needed to fire Tom Coughlin ASAP because
that needed to happen. I do agree with that. It was time for Tom Coughlin to go. I go, no, who's going to take over? I don't think it's going to be Josh McDaniels, but I don't know.
No, he needs to stay in New England. I no more of him there. I don't know any of the coaching like people that are wanting to get hired or whatnot. Kevin Sumlin. No, I'm kidding. He'll stay in college. I don't know how to pronounce this next name. Olympicos is what I'm going to call him. Sorry, but what do you think is the best football stadium? What is the best?
Lambeau Field.
No. I mean, it depends what you're...
of the autumn wind is blowing.
I would not want to be there. I would not want to be there.
Lambeau Field.
The Ice Bowl. The frozen tundra. I've been to the Cowboy. The only football stadium I've actually been to is the Cowboy Stadium, and it looks great.
Lambeau, Link Field, Arrowhead Stadium, because and those two just because of the crowds. Mm-hmm. Those are probably the top three for me. I would love to see a game at.
That new Atlanta Stadium looks beautiful too. I would put that up there.
Yeah, I like the old school football stadiums.
You're old school, aren't you?
Yeah. Where it's cold.
Hey, Atlanta has a Chick-fil-A in their stadium, and they only get to open it up once a year because they're not open on Sundays. You see how productive that is? I don't understand.
That was brilliant.
It just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand it.
That's bizarre to me.
That Monday Night Football game against Seattle was the only time they got to open it this season. So
Heinz Field.
Yeah, I would. I'll put that up there too. I like Heinz.
Probably M&T Bank Stadium would be up there too.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Invesco Field at Mile High, probably up there.
Yeah, some good stadiums out there. The only stadium you don't want to go to is the Charger Stadium because they play in a soccer.
They don't even want to go. By the way, again, the address of the StubHub Center for.
Oh, you got the address again? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull it up.
That's good.
Tickets are available to watch the Chargers. They're playing. I know they're playing an amateur team, but you can still go see them at 18400 South Avalon Boulevard, on a California State campus. There, they have a game this week. The Chargers are playing the Browns, and next week the Eagles are playing the Rams. Tickets are still available for that game as well.
Kev, I was just looking at this is off topic, but it's still football. I was looking at the college football playoff bracket. And this means Clemson's playing Alabama in the first round instead of the national championship this year. So I like it.
That's a rematch. And then, so it's Oklahoma and Georgia.
Georgia, which should be an interesting game, 2 games right there.
Yeah.
I always like rematches, like even if they don't happen in the biggest stages. So this one not being in the national championship should be interesting. I'm personally hoping for Clemson, Georgia, because I hate Oklahoma. I like Baker, but I hate Oklahoma. Always have as a kid. Let's look at the rest of the comments. Killing Boy says, "What's up, guys? I think AC said the Lions were not going to make the playoffs. I laughed at him now. I regret it fully." Well, we all said they weren't making the playoffs at the beginning of the season. So I'll give you that one. How do you feel about Jamal Williams this week, knowing Aaron Jones is back? Well, I heard a report saying that while Aaron Jones is going to come back, Jamal is going to get the more carries. So if you got both of them, I would pick Jamal in your fantasy lineup.
Yeah,
he did decently well against the Steelers last week too. So Mr. Mike 307 says today's the day Philadelphia gets exposed. Yeah, hashtag go Hawks. I don't know about exposed. I don't know about that. Where's Mitch? Says Killing Boys. Okay, I see. I knew I was gonna have to talk about it again.
He's in Michelo.
He is in Michelo, aka Buffalo. He's gonna why he's at the Patriots Bills game, waiting to see some photos of that. So he's in Buffalo. He won't be here today. So we're doing AM later tonight. We're gonna be doing the recap. Mitch will not be on there either. Chris says, Demaryius Thomas or Juju Smith-Schuster for fantasy. Okay, here's the pro. I would go with Schuster.
Go with Schuster too,
because the quarterback situation in Denver is like a wooden plank. Like I don't know nobody's good at the quarterback position, and that's kind of what you need as a receiver. Plus, Demaryius Thomas has been inconsistent for a while now. Schuster's coming back. And Antonio Brown might be hurt. I would definitely start him.
Yeah.
Killing Boy says Jacksonville will destroy the Colts, Kev. Destroy. It's Monte says, I had Greg Olsen, but it ain't looking good. The tight end waiver is bad. It really is, especially in our league. How do you feel about Ed Dixon?
He'll get his targets.
I mean, he's okay. like here's the thing. That is true though. There's you can get literally nobody for tight ends.
Yeah.
You have to beg for tight ends.
Yeah. The tight ends have been really tough in fantasy, and I think, if you get 8 points from a tight end, I think you're happy. Quite frankly.
You know the most points I've gotten from a tight end this season was 4.5. 4.5. Because I had Martellus Bennett, who did nothing. And then my backup is Njoku right now. So,
yeah, I'm kind of fortunate I have Graham in our league, and I've had to kind of flex out in my other one, and it hasn't worked. But hopefully Delaney Walker will be fine today.
Yeah, Delaney Walker's a good target. I'll give him that. Killing Boy says, I want to see T.Y. Hilton versus A.J. Bouye now instead of Joe and Ramsey. Switch it up. I mean, they're number 1 and number 2 cornerbacks in the league, so I don't think T.Y. is getting diddly squat today. Mr. Mike 307 says, wrong. Seattle will shock the football world. I don't agree. Eddie Lacy needs to be waived. I do agree with that one. He could waive his way back to the Chinese food place or something. Malcolm Mitchell coming back week 16 or the first playoff game. Do we agree? I haven't even heard the reports on it. If he does, I don't know how much of an impact he has, considering all the targets that the Brady has.
Yeah,
I don't know. Vontaze Burfict is a perfect cheap hitter. Yes. Let's see. What time is the Patriots game coming on? It's 12 Central. I don't know what system you're in. Mr. Mike says, I hate college football. Pay them players. Oh, we don't need to get into that discussion about paying players. We'll be here all day. Let's see here. Eli stats are horrible. Yes. Let's see. Cowboys have a nice stadium. Seattle has a nice one too. So we're both getting credit there. But I will agree, the fucking food at AT&T is ridiculous. Going to New Orleans to see the Saints play, always rocking. Nice. What do we think about the Chiefs and Jets, Kev? What do you think about that game?
I think the Chiefs will win. I think they'll bounce back this week. Whether the Chiefs are fully back is another story for another time. But they do have a pretty easy schedule heading into the end of the season, so that buoys you some hope that I think that they can still win the AFC West.
Mm-hmm.
But they're only a game ahead of the Chargers. That's tough. They got to win that Chargers game. I don't know if they can beat the Chargers right now. I think the Chargers are rolling.
The way they're playing, I don't think they can either.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Is it next week? Or
no, it's way later in the year. Let's pull that up. Ohio State the entire state of Ohio is very angry right now, by the way.
They lost to Iowa. I think
that's why. Yeah.
That was basically the only reason that they didn't get in. Let's see. It's actually 3 weeks from now. So week 15 they'll play them.
Yeah, week 15. Yeah, so they got the Raiders. They got the Raiders next, and then the Chargers. Yeah,
that's a Saturday game too. So.
Oh yeah.
Interesting stuff there. I don't know. That should be a good game. The Chiefs. I'm gonna reassess them after this week. I'm trying to. It's like a week by week basis at this point because it's like, I don't know. Travis Kelce or Zach Ertz. That's Kyle. I would go with Ertz. I would go with
Kelce. I don't think that people understand how good Bradley. I'm not saying Bradley McDougall is a Cam Chancellor, but he's not a D.
Oh my God, Bradley McDougall.
Oh, he's no Deion Bailey. He's no Cam Chancellor. He's better than people think. That's what I'm saying.
Now you definitely got to pick Zach Ertz, bro. Definitely. Is Aaron really coming back? The earliest they can release him out of IR is week 15. They're not making the playoffs.
If they're in the playoffs, yes. They're in the playoff conversation, yes.
They're not making the playoffs. The only reason they're even in this conversation is because they play 2 very easy opponents the next 2 weeks. But then again, knowing Mr. Hundley and that group, you never know. Next week they'll pick up a victory because they're playing the Browns, but they gotta win this game.
They just if the Falcons lose, the Packers win, and the Seahawks lose, and the Packers win. They're not out. They're not that out of it.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are, Kev. They're done. They're DUNE, Kev. They're DUNE.
No, but look at the look at the standings.
I've looked at the standings.
Look at this seriously here. I know that you're DUNE in it, but
they are DUNE, Kev. They're 5 and 6, right? But they got to win today. The only reason I can see them winning is because Atlanta's too strong too, and then Dallas is coming back up too with a pretty easy schedule.
Okay, so the Falcons lose. Okay, so the Packers win. The Falcons lose. They're 7-5. The Seahawks lose. They're 7-5. The Lions lose. They're 6-6. The Packers win. They're 6-6. They're only 1 game out as of right now. And the Falcons and the Panthers and the Saints are playing each other, so that's going to knock them down a little bit.
Packers have 3 very difficult games the last 3 weeks of the season.
Yes. And the Seahawks are playing the Rams, so that could be another – you could argue – if I'm just looking at this from Packer lens, that could be another loss.
I don't think they can beat the Panthers. I don't honestly think they can beat the Vikings, and they might be able to beat the Lions.
Who, the Packers?
Yeah, those are the last 3 games of the year. I don't think they can beat – one or more than one of them.
Yeah.
So that would make their record 2 more losses. That would put them at 8 losses. I don't see it, Kev.
Yeah, I don't think you could. It's going to be tough. I don't know if you can lose more than 5 to get in, but it's going to be tough.
I don't think they're in there. Let's see here. Eli is a Hall of Famer or borderline Hall of Famer. I'm not a fan. Are we just gonna put in QBs that have Super Bowls at this point? Like, let's be honest. Like Eli has some really good postseasons, right? He has 2 of the greatest playoff runs of a long time. That's probably gonna get him in. But as a full-time quarterback, he would be a disgrace to the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry, he really would be. Like the longevity, like look at the career path, right? Of those quarterbacks from 2004, Phillip Rivers has the least chance to get in. Eli is close, and Ben Roethlisberger's going in. I don't see. I probably do see him going in, but I would never vote for him. That's how I would do it.
Yeah, the argument's going to be, can you tell the story of the NFL without Eli Manning?
No, it's because of Super Bowl 42 that they're going to put him in.
And I don't even know if he should have been the MVP of that game.
Well, it wasn't. They didn't even put up that many points. It was the defense that probably should have gotten something out of that. But whatever. And if fucking David Tyree doesn't make the catch of your lifetime, I don't know. Whatever. The escape was very nice though. Michael Stack says it's like the new NHL video, Kev.
Thank you.
I saw you guys on there a couple times. Martavius Bryant or Marvin Jones, says Jordan.
Oh, I don't even like Bryant, so Jones. And
I would go with Jones. The reason Bryant was good last week was because Schuster was hurt and Schuster's back, so I don't know. Marvin Jones says, Killen Boys. Mike says Dallas is done, and then Killen Boys replies with Dallas still has a chance. My playoff hopes went from 5% to 25%, so that's how I feel about that.
I think your team is DUNA, but I've already said that. Yeah, and you think the Seahawks are DUNA, so we're at
the Cowboys' schedule the next 2 weeks is pretty easy, so that's why I have more hope after winning this game, because they play the Giants and the Raiders the next 2 weeks. And then it comes down to those 2 games, which, by the way, I feel like that Cowboys-Seahawks game is going to be a lot bigger now that
that'll be a huge game for sure.
So
for sure.
We're coming for you. Let's see. Next one. I can't believe the Seahawks made the playoffs at 7-9. Went back in 11, so they still have a chance. No, but nobody's gonna make the playoffs.
No one's making the playoffs at 7-9 this year.
No, it's impossible. Actually, if the Falcons win today, it's actually impossible. So there you go. Let's see here. So who's better, Eli or Phillip?
Phillip. That's not even a debate.
Yeah, thank you. Phillip Rivers is a way better. The thing is, he won't be making the Hall of Fame because he just doesn't have the playoff resume. You know what I mean? But he's a far better quarterback. I'm sorry. I just like him a lot more. And Kev, I think that is going to do it for this week of AM.
Just one more quick thing, though.
Go ahead.
That Eli throw back in the 08 Super Bowl,
that
was a terrible throw. Everyone is like, wow, that was amazing. If that was picked off, that would have been considered one of the worst throws in history.
It was a good scramble.
It was a great scramble.
It was a really great way to get out of that. But yes, I told you, David Tyree had to make the greatest catch of the Super Bowl up to that point.
Yeah.
To get them the win.
Yeah.
And then Plexico Burris with the victory. So yeah, that's just how I feel. Phillip Rivers is better. Sorry. If Phillip Rivers had played with the Giants the rest of his career, Phillip Rivers would have won 2 Super Bowls too.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about that. All right, that's going to do it for AM. We might be having a discussion about Phillip Rivers, Eli. Maybe that should be a topic video for me. I don't know. But that's going to do it. We'll be on here later on tonight with the Sunday Night Football recap between the Eagles and the Seahawks. Kevin, Adam hopefully should be on for that.
Hey, Sports Fury. You were invited to come on the recap.
Oh, might have to talk to him about that. Guys, if you guys didn't check out my Week 13 picks with the Sports Fury was up. You guys can check out their channel. They're very nice guys. We appreciate them for me being on there, and they're always welcome to be on here. And they invited us back there as well. So check those guys out because I wasn't on picks this week. So there's your avenue to go watch me on picks. What else? Join us for later tonight. It's gonna be a good one. I think the Eagles Seahawks discussion should be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, for Kev, it's still under the bottom line view. Stay with us later tonight. Peace.